Good morning, everybody. I am breaking the #1 rule of a meal prep day, and that is my #1 rule is to start with no dishes in the sink. But I am just not going to tackle this right now. I have a number of things that I want to get going in the kitchen. #1 being cranberry bars with cream cheese frosting. #2, a cheese and sausage tray. Both of those are for some events this weekend. I'm Jennifer. This is A Country Life, and yeah, we have things to do. It's amazing. It's summer 2021 and there's stuff to do. So we're supposed to be going on a pontoon boat ride with a group of friends tonight, but it's been raining since we woke up and they're showing that it's supposed to rain all day. So we're kind of making some different arrangements and things like that, but we are not giving up hope on the pontoon boat ride. But anyway, that's what the cheese and sausage tray is going to be for. And then we also have a church picnic tomorrow. And so I signed up to bring dessert. And of course, cranberries it is. So I also would like to work on some meat prep for the week. I'm kind of thinking I'd like to make some cookie dough balls and just like freeze them on cookie sheets and then put them into a Ziploc bag. We'll see what happens here. Like I said, I know I didn't say, it's 11:30 already today, and if the boat ride works, we really have to leave the house at about 2 o'clock. So that doesn't give me much time. And if the boat ride doesn't work, then we probably don't have to leave here until about probably 4:45. I have a short window or I have a long window. We'll see. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
You love hairspray, don't you? You're eating all the crumbs?
Mm-hmm.
I did, however, clear off my island. So at least this is clean if the sinks are messy. This is just some water.
Oh, look here.
Uh-huh, bubbles.
What are the bubbles?
I've got Joe in the kitchen with me here today. He's washing up his hands and he's gonna help me make cranberry bars. So first off, we're gonna put in a half cup.
Make cookies.
I know, you wanna do the cookies too, don't you? He doesn't like cranberry bars with cream cheese frosting, but he does like cookies. Okay, so a half cup of butter. We're gonna put in 1.5 cups of sugar. Joe, you wanna get 2 eggs, please?
Sure.
Where are you going to get the eggs? They're in the fridge, honey, not in the chicken coop, in the fridge. I'm pretty sure he's going out to the chicken coop right now. I'm gonna get that creaming now.
Cover the eggs.
Okay, so I'm gonna have Joe crack the eggs. When I'm first starting with kids, I have them crack it into a bowl first. You're gonna have to crack it harder than that.
This is not it.
I know, you don't like to get your hands full of egg, do you? Ready? Okay, now. Oh, we didn't do it hard enough. Okay, now put your thumbs in there and pull it apart. Pull it apart. Good job. Did you get your hands dirty?
Yeah.
That's okay, wipe it on your apron. That's what the apron's there for, okay? And pour that in there. Pour it in. And here's the other one. Do this one now. Gotta do it harder. There you go. Now put your thumbs in that little hole.
That's not it.
Yes, it is. Look.
That's not it.
You don't want to do that?
Mom.
What?
Help me from.
You got it?
Yeah.
Well, you got to put that over there and for the scraps. This has to go by the scraps. Otherwise, we make a mess on the counter. Did you get any shells?
Yes.
You did get shells?
I put up a cook.
No.
And then the egg.
You cracked the egg. Okay, put that in there now. Okay, so it's nicely creamed. Everything is all mixed together and it looks light and somewhat fluffy.
Scooch.
Scooch? Who's baking, you or me?
No, it's Scooch.
Scooch.
Yeah, Scooch.
You're a Scooch.
Yeah, Scooch.
Okay, here we go. 1.5 cups of flour. Put that in.
Oops.
Okay, ready? And we need the green one.
Really?
We need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Sprinkle that in. We need a half teaspoon of salt. And then we need a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm just going to pour that in. Okay, put that down. And turn it on just like number one, just one click. There you go, good job. Now, a lot of times when I need to have chopped nuts for something, I will just kind of loosely chop them in the bag like this, just kind of press on them until they crack. And then it's also kind of a good idea if you're taking something to a potluck to not have the, you want bigger chunks of nuts so that people can see the nuts in there in case they're allergic to it and that kind of thing. At least then they know, oh, we should pass over this. And we need 1 cup. This is my 3/4 cup, so we're just going to make it heaping. When I was getting the cranberries out of the freezer, I saw I also have frozen blueberries in there, and I thought this would be pretty good to try. I've never done it before, but wouldn't it be good to try with like mixed fruit? Cranberries, blueberries, and then I even have frozen strawberries. That would be really good, I think. When you make these, don't be alarmed that the dough is very stiff, and then if you are using frozen cranberries, it's going to stiffen it up even more. So usually I just use like a spatula or a wooden spoon and just stir it the best I can, press it into the pan, and it always works out and turns out perfectly. My dough basically froze because my battery died, and then I had to switch the battery. And in that time, the cranberries completely froze my dough here. Just trust me on this. It's okay that there's like a lot of cranberries here and not a lot of dough. It will, once I put this in, the butter's all gonna melt and it's gonna make this all kind of smooth out and just even out. Trust me. I'm going to make some Instant Pot venison stew. So I have here a pack of our venison mini roasts. These are cut from the back strap. Normally what I would do is season this really well and then wrap it in bacon, and then Warren would grill these. Today, since we're going to be going out for supper, and tomorrow we have the church picnic, and I don't really know what the day is exactly going to bring, I didn't want this meat sitting until tomorrow night, and I surely did not want it going until Monday night. I did take it out of the freezer a couple days ago and had it in the fridge to thaw, and I just want to make sure that I used it up. So with that, I thought, you know what, I can make this beef or make this venison stew, and then we can always eat this if we want. We can warm it up for supper tomorrow night. I can save it for Monday, make some fresh bread to go with it. That sounds really good to me. So I do have some options. So I have some baby carrots here. I'm just gonna roughly chop these. And then I do have some celery. It's not looking so good. We're just a couple days out until it's time to do my once a month grocery shop. But the fact that the celery is still looking this good, I would say is a win, considering I got it basically a month ago. Okay, I have my Instant Pot out, and well, I should call it, I tell you guys this all the time when I use it, it is not an Instant Pot, it is Elec Homes, which makes it an electric pressure cooker. So I'm going to put some oil in the bottom here, and then as soon as that is really, really hot, I have the option of Sauté, and then if I hit this adjust button down here, I can put it to more. So I think that that's just going to make it even hotter. I think it makes it hotter. I'm not 100% sure, but I figure less, normal, more must mean hotter. So I'm going to let this get nice and hot, and I'm going to get my meat in there to sear. And while I wait for that to get really hot, I'm going to use garlic and herb seasoning. This one is from Aldi. Lowry seasoning salt and black pepper. The oil's nice and hot. Now I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to show you guys this. Let's see, I don't know how. Okay, it's gonna sizzle pretty good, and I don't really want it to sizzle up on my camera, but let's put some of this in. The key to getting a really good sear is to let the meat cook long enough until it naturally releases from the bottom and doesn't stick. Okay, I would say that this meat here is seared. I'm going to put the rest of this meat back in and all the juices. I'm going to sprinkle, oh, there's my cranberry bars done. I'm going to sprinkle over about a tablespoon of minute tapioca. I just put in all my vegetables and then I'm just going to add a small amount of water and get the lid on, close up the vent, and I'm going to set this to normal pressure for 35 minutes. So let me just see what the meat stew button does. We're going to go 35, and that's it. It's going to gradually come up to pressure. I always make sure that the lid is kind of seated well. I don't know if that's just a Lec Holmes thing or an Instant Pot thing, but sometimes the lid doesn't want to seat quite as tight as I feel like it should. But I suppose once it builds up the pressure, it kind of starts to create a little bit of a vacuum in there as well, I would think. I just took the cranberry bars out. I had these, actually, I know in my cookbook it says 350 degrees, but I wanted to bake them in the glass pan today, and so I always turn it down 25 degrees when I do that. So I had it in at 325, and the recipe, I believe, says 40 to 45 minutes. I set the timer for 40, came back, needed 3 more minutes, and there we go. It's done. So they look just light, very, very light brown or light tan on top. They feel set. Now I'm going to let them cool, and then we'll get some cream cheese frosting on them in a little while. And by a little while, I mean it could be tonight after we get back from all of our fun out and about on the town. Okay, we just took a little break to have some lunch. I realized I also should go and take care of Eska. Shoot. Okay, I'm going to do that first, and then when I come back, I'm going to cut up some sausage. I have a stick of summer sausage here. This is beef summer sausage, and then I'm going to go and get some cheese, and I'm just going to, every other piece here, I'm going to cheese and sausage on this little platter, get that saran wrapped, and hopefully I'm going to have time to make up some cookie dough as well. Before we get going on making any cookie dough to freeze, I thought we really needed to tackle dishes. So I've got Peter in here now. I don't know, Peter, did I make you do this or did you offer?
You made me.
I made you, didn't I? And so anyway, we're just working through all these dishes, and then we're going to clean up our mess here. And I'm still waiting on the cranberry bars to be completely cool so that I can make the frosting. So that, like I said, might end up happening late tonight. And then the Instant Pot is all done, but it is doing a natural release. I find with a natural release versus a quick release, if you're doing something like a meat that you really want to be very, very tender or has a tendency to not be as tender, like venison or something that tends to be a little bit on the tougher side naturally, then it really helps to just allow it to do a natural release, because it just sort of, I don't know, it just keeps softening. It's like that warmth that's going through the Instant Pot just kind of keeps softening the meat a bit. So that's what I'm doing, is just letting this do a natural release. Oh, look at that. Okay, it's done. And so let's open this up then and see what it's looking like. Oh, it's always so hot. Watch that steam, Peter, okay? Okay, well, it just looks like a whole lot of cooked vegetables right now.
What are you making?
It's a stew. Potatoes are really soft. Everything, wow, everything is nice and soft. Okay, so I'm going to give this a stir. Okay, so I'm going to just test a little piece of the meat. If I can get a little tiny piece there. Oh, come on, stay on my fork. I'm going to let it cool here and then give it a test. I like the fact that this is not a tomato-based stew. Sometimes my family gets a little funny about too many tomato-based things. I like that a lot, but sometimes they get a little funny about it.
Mom.
Hot. The meat's very tender. It really just kind of falls apart. I do think I'm going to flavor it up a little bit more. Are you guys arguing in the background? Now they're whisper arguing. That's really good. What do you need to show me? Oh, you put a little string on it to hold it in place.
Holds.
Cute.
It looks like it's, but you put it in from the back.
Oh, okay.
Then it looks like it's just holding on.
Yep. Yep, there you go.
On its own. And now it's like.
Yep, cute. I do think that what I'm going to do is put in a little bit of beef bouillon flavoring into this, just because I think it needs a little bit more flavor. Just a little bit, but not a whole lot. So, okay, I know Warren's going to like this. I just know he is. So, glad that I made it like this. I know there's actually quite a bit of flavor tied up on the bottom here. See if I scrape that. The metal liner is always spinning on me. Anyone else annoyed by that? Anyway, if I kind of scrape it up like this, I'm noticing all that darker brown is coming off all the little bits that are cooked on, and that's going to add a whole lot of flavor too. I'm going to put this cover on it. I'm going to let it cool. Let's see, let's cancel it so it turns off. Let it cool a little bit, put it in the fridge, and then tomorrow for supper, we'll have it all ready to go. We can just warm it up and it'll be, you know, just be like having it fresh. That is a beautiful sight. Maria is like, oh, what is it? She comes running. It's just a pile of clean dishes. I'm actually going to continue this video sometime tomorrow after the church picnic because there are a few more things that I do want to get done. I just don't have time right now. Warren is home. We need to drop the kids off where they're going to be going here for tonight. And, whoa, what do we got going on here, Peter? Private detective, huh?
What?
And
goggles.
spy goggles, huh? And so I'll finish this up tomorrow. Stay tuned. Good morning. I'm just about to start making the frosting, but I needed to get some morning coffee here. We ended up having an evening out with friends last night. Our pontoon boat ride, though, was canceled just because of the rain. Warren has just been out this morning checking on the marsh and everything, and he came running in at one point and he said, we got 3 3/4 inches of rain last night, or at least like through yesterday, and then it really picked up around like 6:30 last night and just rained and rained and rained and rained. So anyway, he's out probably dealing with some washouts and things like that. And a washout is like basically where like the dike kind of collapses or caves in a certain area, and depending on where that's located, sometimes it's an emergency, like right now he needs to you know, dig that out, and sometimes he can let it go until later in the day or until like tomorrow, the work day. It just kind of depends. So I don't really know. Hopefully he gets back in here in time because, like I said, we do have church here this morning. So I'm getting going with the cream cheese frosting. It's so easy. This is, even if a recipe calls for, so even if I'm making a new recipe and it has a recipe on it for cream cheese frosting, I rarely follow it. I just make it like this all the time. So I use a half a thing, like a half of a brick, which this would be about 4 ounces of cream cheese, a half a stick or a 1/4 cup of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla, about 2 cups, sometimes 2.5 cups. It really just kind of depends on how thick or like more soft I'd like the frosting to be. So anywhere from 2 to 2.5 cups, a tablespoon or something like that of milk. So that's about it. It's afternoon, almost supper time here now, and I do have the venison stew that I made yesterday. I put it back in the Instant Pot just on the slow cook setting so that that can be ready for supper. I think we'll probably have supper in about an hour or so, and I'm I've never used the slow cook setting, honestly, so I'm hoping that it's kind of like a crock pot, that if you don't have a whole lot in it, it should heat up pretty fast. Anyway, if it doesn't, we'll just have to throw it in a kettle and put it on the stove. There was a lady from our church, and she gave me a whole bunch of like older church cookbooks and that type of cookbook, and I found this recipe in there for banana bran muffins, and it just looked really good, so I'm giving that a try. In my KitchenAid bowl here, I have 1 egg, 2 very small, very soft bananas. It does call for 1 1/3 cups. I know that's not 1 1/3 cups, so I may just adjust some of the dry ingredients a tiny bit so it's not dry. I have a 1/3 cup of oil in here, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and also a teaspoon of banana extract. I've never used that before, so I'm looking forward to, you know, a nice strongly flavored banana muffin. I put in here brown sugar, whole wheat flour, some bran cereal, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. I'm going to give this a quick little stir. And then I'm going to put all of this into the wet mixture and stir it just until it's moist. I had the muffins in at 350 degrees because it was a dark pan. The recipe called for 375, but I put them in for 350, and then the little ones came out at 15 minutes and the big ones came out at 17 minutes. And I tried one, warm, really tasty. I love that whole wheat flour in there. I'm not sure once they cool. You know, sometimes certain muffins, when they cool, they get a little bit firmer and just kind of a little dry. But anyway, as long as you microwave a muffin, then, you know, it softens right back up. All right, great flavor. I love that extra banana extract in there. It really upped the banana flavor. I really like that a lot. You can see that my cauliflower is not super fresh. I did have to cut a few spots off. That's okay. I'm going to roast this, and I'm just getting this ready for tomorrow night's supper, actually. That's kind of the last thing I'm doing here today, is just looking over my list, my menu plan for the week, just to see, okay, what meals, actually not just for the week, but my menu plan for the whole month, and I look at what meals have we already made, what meals would work well for this particular week, that kind of thing. And I see that I do need to bring up some venison steak. We'll be doing that for supper tomorrow night, along with baked hash browns and also this roasted cauliflower. And I thought if I could just get this done tonight while I'm already in the kitchen, it's just going to make things go that much better tomorrow. Because, whoa, we got a lot of giggling and chasing going on. Because Monday is when I always fertilize both the vegetable garden as well as all of my flowers. And that's going to take quite some time tomorrow. And we also have to run 2 errands. Neither one are going to take a long time, but it just takes time because we're out in the country. And then I would like to stop at Shoe Sensation. I got a gift certificate for my birthday for there, and that was back in early June, and I still have not stopped in for myself. Let me give you guys a peek at the meal plan. So we have made that. Let's see, what else have we already made? We did that already. We did that. So tomorrow, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do the venison steak and hash browns. I might just do Swiss steak on Wednesday too. Everybody likes that. Sorry, not on Wednesday. We'll do this meal on Monday. It really doesn't matter. Sometimes I stick right to it, but man, in the summer I do not. These are just at least written down so I can do this. We already did this meal here. And what else do we need to do? Okay, kind of just talking to myself here as I look over this. So I'm just going to be pulling out a pack of venison steak for Monday night. I'll pull out a pack of venison steak for Tuesday night. We'll do 2 different kind of versions or 2 different ways of making venison steak. I think that's all I'm going to have to pull out for the week. I see one night I'm actually going to do that breakfast. That's going to be really easy. Probably for either Wednesday or Thursday night, we'll do kind of like scrambled eggs and, you know, make some fresh bread and stuff like that for toast. I did put some bread into the oven, like already bought from the store bread. I just foiled it.
Good.
It's good? What's good? The bread or the watermelon?
Watermelon.
The watermelon is really good? It is. You like those strawberries too?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here it is, Monday, later afternoon. It's 2:30 right now, and I had all kinds of plans when I started this video on, I think that was Saturday already, getting some food prepped and stuff like that. And I kind of thought, oh, I'm gonna get all this stuff done, right? And then I won't have to necessarily be in the kitchen, but I don't know. I guess either that's not me or it just didn't work out like that. So I have my venison steak here, and I bought some of these probably a couple months ago already at Dollar Tree. They had them for $1. And so I'm just going to get my venison steak marinating for tonight's supper. Well, I guess when we put this package of venison together, we couldn't count because it says 6 butterfly steak, but I'm pretty sure I just counted 8, which will be fine. Then we'll probably have some extras, and I can dice that up and put it with our eggs for breakfast tomorrow. Oh, there's a leak in this bag. I like to reuse bags all the time, and I see I have a little leak in this one, so I'm actually gonna have to put it into a little Tupperware. I'm going to put this in the fridge to marinate, but I will take it out about 30 minutes before it's time to grill them so that we're not putting ice cold meat onto the grill. And then also in the kitchen today, I did scrub up these potatoes. So I'm going to be making baked potato for supper tonight. Really just Warren and me and Joe are going to have a baked potato. Peter and Maria, for some reason, think baked potatoes are not good. But I am going to bake up 5 more potatoes, because then tomorrow I'll have them all ready to go to make fried potatoes with whatever it is we're going to have, which I think I had planned on doing like a Swiss steak, which I already have the venison thawed for that. What I'll do tomorrow is, along with the Swiss steak, I'll just fry up potatoes and make just like real crispy fried potatoes. If there's one thing that I have learned over, you know, these basically 25 years of being a wife, almost 25 years, is that, and being in the kitchen, is to kind of think ahead a little bit. I've learned that thinking ahead really gets me ahead, because then, you know, like tomorrow, if I want fried potatoes, if I'm gonna do like baked potato today, just make more, and then they'll be ready for tomorrow. It's not all about freezer meal cooking or huge bulk meal prep days or anything like that. Sometimes at certain points in your life, or like we're getting to be a smaller family right now, you know, for our day-to-day at home. And so I don't need to cook quite the way I used to. Although all those things have a great place, I feel like I love making freezer meals and having those ready to go. I really like big bulk cooking days. Sometimes then at certain points, you know, in my life, I found just little things like, here we go. If we want to have some steak and eggs for breakfast tomorrow, just cook up a little extra steak tonight. You can just add that to a frying pan with a little bit of butter. It softens it up, kind of makes it feel all yummy and brand new again. Throw it in with the eggs and delicious breakfast. Make some extra potatoes. If you think you're going to be doing a pasta dish or something like that, cook up the noodles today for Wednesday. If you're already in the kitchen bringing something else to a boil, because if you've got the stove on, might as well just do something else. So that's just something that I have found that has been very helpful, if we're talking about little things that make things helpful. I've also found that when meal planning, to try to keep your side dishes very minimal. All the side really needs to be, especially if you have younger kids who just usually like fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, usually better than cooked or canned or that kind of thing. Sometimes our side dishes are just cut up vegetables, cut up fruit. And there we go. And that doesn't take a long time. It's good for you. It's good on the pocketbook. Just, it's good all the way around. The potatoes are done in the oven. It's still set at 400 degrees. So roasting vegetables, very, very, very easy to do. If you haven't roasted vegetables before, I would recommend that you first do individual vegetables so you get a feel for how long they take to roast up, so that you can, in the future, if you want to do mixed vegetables, you can mix them according to how long they take to roast. Cauliflower does take a little while. I have my oven set to 400. I have some olive oil in here, and now I put in some seasonings, a garlic and herb and some kosher salt. I like to use a dark pan because I think that gets them done faster and you get a little bit more of that kind of golden roasted look. Last night the sourdough bread warmed up in the oven was a real winner, so I'm going to do that again tonight.